Daniel. Eva. Rebecca.
Everybody sit
Guys. Rebecca, shush. Everyone. Rebecca, shush. Jews, please. Answer. You scored here. Sit. בבקשה, שימו פריי, אז פריי, פזלסטה, תדיץ, whatever language. Okay. Marcello, Sebastian. I know Argentina, hola. Okay, no chista. Okay. Well, okay, so our host, my dear friend, Mishpacha, too humble, he went upstairs. Mr. Phillipson, thank you very much for coming. Thank you. Well, everyone just, guys, Slicha, Alex, you're in charge of the back section. Thank you. So we bless the Phillipson family with only brachas and everything for their children. Amen. Okay. So with that, I want to thank Rina Perkel for an amazing presentation.
Thank you.
And we will send you out. Rina gives a class every week. Yes.
Yeah. And also just they have my contact info at the top of the handout. You can always text me or email me. Okay. So let's get started. We're going to start with the water group. So who's representing for water? Okay.
By the way, guys, I have to tell you.
No,
Wait, don't do it. My balcony overlooks the ocean, and I saw this guy. I thought this Latino guy doing yoga on the beach. We met on the water. We're both water signs.
Thank you for the introduction. I appreciate that. So, when everybody's done speaking, I'll start. All right. So you guys let me know when you're ready. So nice to meet everybody. My name is Daniel. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. And all things considered, what's going on in our community right now, it's an absolute blessing to see everybody come together, smiles on everybody's faces. We have to continue to think great and it shall be great. So at any rate, I'm going to go right into this. I'm a little nervous right now. So
Don't be nervous. You're good. Don't be nervous. I got you.
Thank you.
Firstly,
Need some water, vodka.
Daniel, why don't you firstly remind us which signs are the water signs?
The water signs are Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. I did that without looking. So
let's start out with the strengths. What are the dominant strengths of the water sign?
So my team and I are a lovely, awesome squad over here, beautiful souls. We came up with, well, actually they did most of the work, is the truth. But I was giving spiritual support. So what are your greatest strengths? What are our greatest strengths as water signs? And this is not individualized, this is just on a general basis. We know that everybody kind of has their own way to do things and you have to do what works best for you. But greatest strengths, us water signs, we're warm, we're kind, we're loving, we're empathetic, we're personable, we're understanding, we're nurturing, we're patient, we're helpful, we're down to earth, we have emotional intelligence, we're connected, highly connected, we're detail oriented, we're organized, some of us anyway. We're forgiving, but never forgetting.
Especially the Scorpios.
Especially the Scorpio.
I don't know if that's a good trait or a bad trait, but yeah.
It's about your perception of reality. What's good to me could be bad for you. We're loyal, very loyal. We're honest, almost too honest. We're analytical. We overthink everything. We're self-aware. We're adaptable. We're flexible, and we're foodies. We love our food. Weaknesses.
Wait, let's pause. Okay, great.
Pause.
First of all, thank you, water signs. That was really good. So we're going to review some of the dominant things, because a lot of times people might share generalizations that could be anyone. Anyone could be kind, anyone could be, so let's highlight and pop out sort of like, what are the dominant traits of water signs, okay? So let's start with Pisces. So who's the most famous Pisces in the Torah? Who? Go ahead. Exactly. So he was born on the 7th of Tammuz and he died on the 7th of Tammuz. And oh, sorry, Adar. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Just texting you, everybody.
Water signs make great leaders. Why? Because water signs don't tend to have so much of an ego. They tend to be caring people. So if they're leaders because they really want to help others. They have natural sharing. They're naturally givers. Why? Water represents emotion. Water represents spirituality and wisdom. It also represents receptivity. So that's why they're energetically very sensitive to other people, especially cancers, for example. They have to have here we go with the cancer shaking their head. They have to have a strong filter because you're deep empath. So water signs are deep empaths and therefore they absorb other people. They absorb other people's energy, so they have to have boundaries with their chesed, with their giving energy. You did? Okay, great. So we'll go more into it once we talk about weaknesses, but I just wanted to say that remember what I mentioned to you before about charts. So there might be things that you're hearing about the water signs. You're like, oh, I have that. So when you do your chart, you'll understand, like, for example, your moon was your emotions. If your moon is in a water sign, you're going to be a very deeply sensitive, intuitive, psychic. Even a lot of water signs are like very psychic, clairvoyant, energetic. Like they have that. It's like a natural thing. Okay, and then let's talk about the weaknesses now.
Weaknesses. So weaknesses as water signs, we're perfectionists. We're highly critical. We tend to hold grudges. We don't forget, which personally I think not forgetting is a great thing, but we have to forgive. So always forgive, starting with yourself, but never forget, because if you forget, that's how we repeat this. Just throwing that in there, that was myself. No one. We're blunt. We're really blunt.
That's the Scorpio. Yeah. That's the Scorpio that has that sharp tongue. That's not a typical Pisces Cancer thing. Go ahead. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So we tend to be very blunt. I'm just waiting for the people to stop talking.
No, fire and water. The fire is,
we're too giving without boundaries.
Yeah.
We overextend ourselves. We tend to give ourselves to others without putting ourselves first. We internalize stress. We're like sponges. We absorb people's energies. And we're very empathic. So that's what we have for weaknesses.
Okay, great. Sensitive for sure. So thank you. That was good. Did you guys do the tikkun also? Or did you get to that? But you did all three? Okay, good. So wait, before we go to tikkun. Okay, cool. All right, so let's review weaknesses of the water sign. By the way, one of the things I asked you to do on the worksheet on the page number 1, if you can take a minute, is just if you have your best friend, your mom and dad, your I don't know, your sibling, if you can write down people that you actually know, if you know what their signs are, if you don't know their birthday, maybe write their sign. I want you to have points of reference for this. So this is not just like general information that you can actually go home and say, you know what, I learned a lot about you today, you know? So it would be helpful if you had that, if you took a minute and really thought about who are the people in your life that you're close to, and what are the signs that you gravitate towards. Okay, so let's talk about the weaknesses of the water signs. Let's start with Pisces, okay? So Pisces are not logical people. They're completely ruled by their emotions, okay? So, and they're extremely laid back. Like they just expect things to just happen. They're considered the most spiritually enlightened of all of the signs. Enlightened of all of the signs is Pisces, and so they tend to feel like things will just have a way of working out. So they're too laid back. They're not compelled to action because they know at the end of the day everything is good. So that's one of the things of the Pisces is they have to learn to take action, not just wait for things to unfold. Cancer. Cancer is the moodiest sign on in the zodiac. Okay. And you know, I love them. I told you it's my favorite sign, but they're extremely moody. Why? Okay, sorry. Because Cancer is ruled by the planet, by the moon, and the moon, as we know, is constantly oscillating from fullness to emptiness, right? So the moon is moody, and so the sign that's ruled by the moon is going to be the moodiest sign. So the moon is connected to water, and as we all know, like we're all like 72% made up of water, so we have a connection. That's why if you look at the holidays, the Jewish holidays, most of them are on full moons. Full moons are very high energy days. There's a connection between emotions and the moon, whether we're werewolves or not. It still has an impact on us. So so very moody people, and they're also they're worriers. They tend to worry a lot. Okay, Scorpios. Okay, Scorpios they're very prickly. Let's just say they're like they're people that you really have to be cautious around them. Okay. Scorpios. So Scorpios get a bad rap. The reason why Scorpios get a bad rap is because they're the most extreme of the water signs. So therefore they react to people very strongly. So people react very strongly back to them. So like if you get in a fight with a Scorpio, that's it. You're like, good luck seeing that person it takes them a few years until they'll forgive you. It takes a really long time for them to let it go. Like they hold on to things for a long time. So obviously that's coming from very deep sensitivity. There are people that are very, very sensitive, you know, they get hurt quickly. But I want to tell you, I have 2 of my best friends are Scorpios. They're like very giving, very generous, very smart. They're the biggest talkers. If you're ever around people that talk a lot, it's either going to be a Scorpio or a Gemini. They're like the biggest talkers in the zodiac. They will talk and talk and talk forever. Okay, great. All right. Okay.
Energy is amazing.
Okay, great. So all you guys back there, if you want to schmooze, you can schmooze outside, but this is really important for people, okay? So now let's talk about the tikkun.
What's tikkun?
Okay, so tikkun, we said before, tikkun means to fix. It's basically what's the key to help you manifest your highest potential or in fulfillment. So, you know, we can take a crack at that and see what we come up with. Go ahead.
So we have boundaries. We have to work on setting boundaries.
Yes.
Self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Putting ourselves first.
Good.
And something on particularism and patience, perfectionism, patience. Okay, yeah. So we need to work on perfectionism and patience.
Nice, very good. Thank you. So Pisces, Now I'm going to go through the tikkun of each sign, okay, really quickly. Okay, so Pisces, they're the kinds of people, like let's say you're outside and it's cold, they'll take off their jacket and give it to you and they'll freeze just because that's how they are. They're just like such givers, they just always want to help, they always want to give. So they're like the number one sign that needs boundaries because all they do is give to the point where like they put themselves in detriment because of it. So they need to learn how to give with boundaries. Cancer has to stop living in fear. They're like very deep warriors. So they need to let go and to just let go of the past and be present because they're always remembering this one did this to me, this and that to me. They're like, let it go, like move on, and they need to take risks, not to because cancers are the homebodies. Give them their house and their comfort, and that's it. They're good to go. Give them their family, their best friends, food. They're good to go. Those are the cancers. They're the best. They're my favorites. And then Scorpios, like I don't want to give them a bad rap. Like I said, two of my best friends are Scorpios, but learning to forgive and to give people a second chance because they usually like to take revenge. They're that kind of crowd. But their thing is to learn to just forgive. It's okay to just forgive, let it go, move forward. So what we are taking away from the water signs is that the water signs, if you ever come across the water signs, these people are usually the artists. They're the ones who are like creative, the songwriters, the painters, the playwrights, the actors. They're people that feel very deeply. And so they need an outlet for that. If they don't have an outlet for their depth of emotion, they will come at you. They will find a way to just get it out. But if they have a healthy outlet to give to others with boundaries, to express the way that they feel life in such a deep way, they'll be balanced, they'll be healthy. So these are really like the teddy bears of the zodiac. They're like the feelers. They're the feelers. So there are definitely people that you want to keep close to. You should definitely have a water sign as your best friend. I highly recommend it. So thank you so much. That was great. Okay, we're now going to move on to the Earth group, the Earth signs. And I'm going to talk a little bit about compatibility right now, which is that what I just explained is, I was saying, you guys know I'm a Pisces. And I was telling you how like my best friends are Cancers and Scorpios. So that's like when I was talking earlier in the session about how we gravitate towards certain people, that it's like a natural connection. And you're like, why did I click with them like that? So that usually will be people in your own element are the ones that you're going to have the closest connection to. So if you're an earth sign, you'll gravitate towards like Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. Those will be the people in your circle. That's going to be like level A. Level B is going to be complementary, meaning this group and this group, you guys will work very well together. Water, earth, water feeds earth, right? They're super grounding. Why? Because water signs are super floaty, emotional. They're all over the place, sensitive. And earth signs are grounded, practical, structured, or all that stuff. So they're really, really compatible, especially in marriage. Big complementary is the water with the earth. It goes very well together. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is like someone came up to me during the break where, sorry, I'm just trying to mute someone here. Joseph, can you please mute your mic? Thank you. So like, okay, so somebody came up to me like, oh, I'm dating someone and they're this sign and I'm that sign, and are we compatible or not compatible? First of all, they're definitely compatible based on what you shared with me, but I want you to know there's a lot of elements that come into play with being compatible with a person, right? Like I said, like when I was doing charts for people, I would do compatibility charts. I would take the guy's chart, the girl's chart, put it together and see, do they work well together? And I had that done with my husband after we've been married for like, a long time, thank God. And we did it and we were like, oh, these are the things that we're really compatible with. And these are the things that we really need to work on. And we're like, wow, how cool is it that the chart shows us this is why we connect and this is why we battle, So it's really about understanding that we're all complicated beings. There's no way that in one class I'm going to teach you the secret to compatibility with a person. I'm just, but I'm just kind of highlighting. You'll see, I've done this for so many years. Like I can meet someone and within like 5 minutes of talking to them, I'll know what their sign is. And it's like there's certain people that are just so obvious. Like they're just their traits is just so dominant. And so you can use this for relationships, you can do this for work. Like let's say if you have a big project and you know that your project is going to require someone who's going to be super detail oriented and like very organized and structured, hire an earth sign. You're not going to ask them at the interview if they're earth sign, but if I somehow find out that they are an earth sign, then hire them because they are the best people to hire. These should be like the CEOs, the CFOs, they're all the earth signs. So that's my intro to you guys. So who's presenting?
So I'm saying because we're earth signs, we're very conscientious. We all ask you that.
What's your?
Okay. Nice. What's your name?
I'm Casey.
Casey. Thank you so much. Okay, so Casey.
By the way, she's a New York City refugee like me.
Nice. Okay, so Casey, firstly tell us which signs are earth signs.
Right. So the earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
All right. So our strengths, we're very loyal, resourceful, stable, grounded. We're natural leaders. We're very organized most of the time. Practical. We're very resilient and determined and persevere. We're reliable, logical. We come up with a lot of really good things about ourselves.
Okay, that's good. Was there more?
That was the list that we had.
Okay, you guys were the smallest group.
Right.
Okay, yeah, the
Is
smallest.
it always the case?
Yes, yes. Because earth signs are not generally they're not very spiritual. That's not, usually the biggest group in my class is the air sign. And that was correct. This also this session, the air group was the biggest. Because air is connected to intellect and speech. And so they tend to like this kind of stuff more than practical earth signs. They can think of better things to do with their time. Okay, so thank you for that. Okay, so let's review the earth signs, okay? So who here is a Taurus or knows a Taurus? Anyone here? Okay, great. Okay, Taurus is the best people. I love Taurus people. Okay, so Taurus, they're okay. Don't take this the wrong way, but you all love money. Okay. Is that a bad thing? Is that true or what? Okay, earth signs love money. Okay, let's just say it.
That was actually literally the base. Somebody said we're materialistic with our weaknesses, and we actually were like, well, it's not a weakness. Right.
Right. What I mean by that is that as an earth sign, they're very grounded. They need security. For them, they can't live without security. That's like their motivation in life to be secure. So that's why money is very important.
We all came from Eretz Israel. We came from the land of Israel, so we all like money.
Okay, so let's see what are some things you need to know about. Okay, so the good stuff is that they also tend to be very artistic, like they're really into cooking or painting or gardening or interior decor, like they're really into things. They're very sensual, they're very into like actual things, like take them to like Bed Bath & Beyond, have a party. Like they love that. Like they love actual things. It makes them very happy to have things, you know, furniture shopping, you know, open houses on Sunday, real estate, you know, all that stuff. That just is like music to their soul. They love that stuff. My mom and my best friends are Taurus, so I know this very well. Okay, Capricorns I call the Jewish dads. Any Capricorns here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so
They found each other.
you're all together. Okay, so Capricorns are like the Jewish bankers. They're the types of people that are very into structure, system, finance, analysis. They're like the CFOs, the data analysts, like people who need to wake up every day, have a routine. They need to know exactly. So if you have a Capricorn in your chart, say thank God that you have that, because that means you're actually going to get things done. Okay, it's a very, very good sign. Very good husband material is Capricorn.
That's you.
And I wrote show me the money. That's like their thing, you know, like they're very into money. Okay, so now we did Taurus, we did Capricorn, let's do Virgos. So Virgos are the most critical. They tend to be like the ones that notice all the details, like in their house, like everything has to be in its place. They like things just so. You know,
Is that true?
Yeah, Virgil, they're so practical.
they're very detail oriented, which like again, like I said, those are great workers, like people that, let's say you're an event planner or a wedding planner or something like that, someone that has to manage a lot of different details, they're your guy. Now they're also, I mean, it's, I don't want to make it seem like these people are like flat people, like this is who they are and that's all. I'm really trying to help you understand what's dominant, because if you ever do your chart and you see this, you'll be like, oh, this is why I'm so critical. Like Virgos are like very judgmental, very critical people. Why? Because they're perfectionists. They like to have things just so, you know? So let's talk about the weaknesses.
Okay. Some may say materialism is a weakness. We're a little bit stubborn.
Yeah.
We can be a little lazy. Sometimes insecure. We have two knights here. Perfectionist, not very flexible.
Very good.
That's our weakness.
Yeah. So the thing is with earth signs is that they like things as they are. They're not really looking for risk. They're not looking, they will not invest in the stock market. They'll buy real estate. You know, like they like things that are set, that they know that they can depend on. Like if you want to go out on a Saturday night, they're not the types of people that will be so easy to convince. You're going to have to tell them like what's good. Like they want to know the details, you know, like it's a whole story to get them out of the house, you know. They're very comfortable. Like comfort is their thing. They're in a comfort zone. So what did you guys come up with for a tikkun?
So for tikkun, doing more to help others, over analyzing, losing the forest for the trees sometimes, over dominating certain situations, we're finding ways to not procrastinate as much, and they would have having kind of extreme views and not be like learning how to have some flexibility around their views, and then the last one is being able to take advice. And
it's beautiful. Wow, you guys did very well. Really, really well. So now we're gonna do the, thank you so much, Casey, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm a Taurus.
Taurus,
Yeah.
nice,
May 4th.
nice.
But all my other stuff's in Scorpio, they said.
Oh, interesting.
My mood is in Taurus.
Okay, so now,
Excuse me, can you go over the tikkun? I didn't get the tikkun for the earth sign.
sure, thank you, Sigali, for reminding me. I'll
Thank you.
with the group. So Sigali, who's joining us virtually, reminded me that she wants to hear the tikkun, so I'm just going to repeat it. What Casey shared is right on, what she was saying. Really, it's about going outside of yourself, like not focusing just on what you want, do things your way. It's about being flexible and also caring about what does the other person want to say? How can I be sensitive to their needs and not just focusing on what's comfortable and easy for me? And also it's about taking risks and getting out of your comfort zone. So that's the tikkun for Taurus. Okay, so we're gonna do fire. Who's representing fire? Okay, let's go. Elisheva, you're up. Okay, Elisheva, tell us which signs are the fire signs.
Fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius.
Okay, great. So what did you guys come up with as strength?
So doing a lot of hesed, encouraging others, being assertive, compassionate, confident, social, courageous, having a lot of chutzpah, loving, caring, resilient, adaptable, leadership, risk-taking, ability to act, what else? Creativity, leadership, risk-taking, creativity, yeah, I said that right, passionate, patient, understanding, quick on your feet, rational, multitasker, good listener, what else? Willingness to overcome any like life's tests,
Yeah.
staying positive, I said leadership already,
Yeah.
leadership, personable, and helpful and loyal.
Very good. Okay, great. I'm just gonna highlight some of the strengths for each sign, okay?
Okay.
So that was really good. So what stands out about the fire signs is that these are the leaders, okay? These are the go-getters. These are like the visionaries, the innovators. Think of like, I don't know, like Steve Jobs or someone like that, like someone who's very innovative, fearless, take charge, like always first in the line of battle, like fearless, like they'll do whatever they set their mind on, they'll accomplish. Like that's a fire sign. So I'm gonna go through each sign just in case. So Aries is known as the child of the zodiac. Why does anyone know why it's called the child of the zodiac? Go ahead. What?
The first sign.
The first sign. Is that what you're gonna say? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's the first sign in the zodiac. So what do you associate with children? Children are fearless. They think they can do anything, right? They're also very impulsive, which we'll talk about later, but they have that sort of child personality, and they're also unlimited, like they can do anything. And they're also very loving, like you said. Now, Leo is the most fiery of the fire signs. Now, Leo's, like I said before, think of like Madonna, Elvis, Barack Obama. They're all like these bigger than life iconic types of personalities. Those are the Leos. And at first you're like, oh, that's cool. I'd like to be a Leo. And then you're like, no, those are like the worst people to be around. And, you know, like they're like the Leo sign is ruled by the sun. So that means they by default they want tons of attention, tons of focus on them. They need that, they feed off of that. They're the performers, you know, people in power, people that just feed off of that energy. That's the Leo sign. But they are good people. Like one of my good friends when I was living in New York was a Leo, and she was that kind of personality. Like when she walked into the room, everyone was like all eyes on her, but she was such a good person. Like she was so giving. She would do so much chesed. Like she was a kind person. But like the thing with Leo is like sometimes they do kindness because they want the ego to be to be fed. So like they do the chesed because they want the attention. So that we'll talk about that later. And then the best fire sign. Who's the Sagittarius here? Oh, good, Yosef, right? You're like the only one. Okay, well.
No, we have to choose that.
Is there more? Okay, awesome. So I see another one there. Okay, so let me tell you about this. Okay, so they're the coolest people in the zodiac, are the Sagittarians. They're like the rock stars of the zodiac.
Guys, we're the rock stars. Great.
Okay, so the Sagittarians, extremely personable, like very charismatic. They're like the teachers of they tend to be spiritual. They're not just like, oh, look at me, I'm a rock star. They're like, they have charisma. They usually try to channel it to like personal development. They're all about personal growth and like taking on challenges and changing and growing and helping other people. So Sagittarius is like super good energy, happy-go-lucky, like very romantic, very loving, like open to change. It's like a very positive sign. It's during the month of Kislev, which is the energy of miracles. So Sagittarians, if you ever find one that's a great person to date, like really, huh? I don't know, because they're taken. You see, they're so good. They're taken. They don't stay single for too long because they're really awesome people. I highly recommend you connect with Sagittarians. All right, let's talk about weaknesses.
So weaknesses were obsession, short-tempered. They can't say no to people.
Yeah, just speak a little louder.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, obsession, like obsessive, short-tempered, people pleaser, impatient, judging people like too quickly in a situation, lack of focus, insensitive, over analytical, overly sensitive, lack of communication, anxious, caring about their appearances.
Good. Okay. At least you guys were honest. So I know it's not easy to share these things. Okay. So let's go through the weaknesses of Aries. Okay. So like we said, Aries is the baby, right? They're the ones that's like me, I'm the center of the universe. Everything's about me and what I want. So they're like the worst people to date, right? So like Aries are people that by default are not naturally sensitive to others. They have to work on that. They really need to work on caring about what other people need, not just them. Leo needs to be careful not to be too prone to flattery. Like they just like get such a rise out of people giving them compliments and and being very very controlling, like manipulating their charisma to make people serve them. I hope are there any Leos in this group? Okay, I'm so sorry. They're very they're very charismatic. Okay, and then Sagittarius, I mean, they're just perfect people, so we have nothing to say about Sagittarius.
The whole Brickle group is look from that side.
Really? Of what? Leos? Oh, who's the Leos? Show me. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Rina, can I add that Leos, if they're refined, they're very trustworthy. I have a son who's a Leo.
Yes.
I have 5 boys, but one of my sons is a Leo, and he's the most dependable. It's unbelievable. If he says he's going to do something.
Earth sign, right? Aren't you an Earth sign?
I'm actually water. I'm a Scorpion, but I'm not a typical Scorpion.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But I feel that I'm a refined Scorpion.
Well, what I wanted to say, Sigalit, is that like what we were saying before, everyone is a complicated mix of things, right? What we're talking about here is like nature and nurture. You can't talk about astrology as like the only indicator of a person's personality. That would be ridiculous,
And also we know that Rashi says that Bnei Israel are me'al hamazalot.
You weren't here for the first part of the class.
No, but I'm just saying that by learning Torah and refining your midot, you can transcend the negativity of what maybe the mazalot rule over the different.
That's what I shared in the first part of the class.
3 hours behind.
Yeah, she's 3 hours behind, but I appreciate that.
What did he say?
Okay, so did you do the tikkun?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now we're gonna do the tikkun.
For some people, it was like having better communication, being more like spiritual, having more like meaning in life, like rising more like to spirituality, having more confidence, standing up for yourself. Let's see, being able to shine light on other people.
That's good.
Passing your spiritual tests and finding a purpose.
Beautiful. Yeah. I like the focus where you were saying how it's about helping other people or being sensitive to other people, because by default, these signs are self-centered. Right. So the more they focus on how they can care about others, they're going to heal themselves. So that's already a big tikkun. Awesome. Thank you. Don't go yet. Okay. So Aries tikkun, I'm just going to review really quickly. Okay. So Aries has this thing where like they get super excited about something and they stop. Okay. So you guys are nodding. Are you Aries? Both? Oh, best friends Aries. Okay. So you know what I'm saying? So I have Aries also in so I know exactly what that's like. It's basically you get super excited, you get super pumped, you're like, oh, I'm doing this, and then like a month later, you're like, oh, forget it. Yeah. It's like you get over things quickly. So the tikkun for that is finish what you start. Always take on small things that you can actually do and complete it, and then do the next thing. Don't take on big things that are like too much to do. Yeah? Okay, Leo. Okay, so Leo is, when they give, they need to learn to give just for the sake of sharing, not for the sake of building their ego. That's Leo. And then Sag, like we said, they're perfect, but the only thing they really need to work on is also like not only about their fun, their excitement, their awesome life, but like also thinking about how can I be spiritual and focus on the bigger picture. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we're going to do air signs. Who's the air group? Come on, I love this class. You love it? You're like my cheerleader. I should bring you to all my classes. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys, this is it. Sorry, do you have a question? How are you? Are you reading the Hebrew? Oh, your Rosh Chodesh what? Rosh Chodesh what? You're Rosh Chodesh Elul? Oh, so you're on the cusp. Okay, so you celebrate both. You got the influence of both. Anytime you're a cusp, you run the influence of both sides. You're in between both. Yeah, it's actually a bracha because it is more balanced. Exactly. You're more interesting. Huh? No, that's a hard one. I know. October 22nd? Oh. All right, so air signs, what's your name?
Sean.
Sean, thank you for being up here. So
Of
tell
course,
us,
yeah.
what are the signs that you're representing?
So we're representing Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius.
Make us proud.
That's right.
You guys are the biggest group.
To be honest, we were just talking the whole time, having a good time. we wrote. I'm joking. We wrote a lot of good stuff. Okay.
That's awesome.
So for greatest strengths, we have intelligence, social, outgoing, balance, life of the party, creative, funny, problem solver, adventurous, showstopper, positive reinforcement, supreme confidence, belief.
Supreme confidence.
Belief.
Are you sure there's a Leo in your group?
I mean, listen, some of us just have swag. That's what it is. And belief in our abilities and common sense, intuition.
Beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So let's review the three signs, okay? Okay, so Aquarius is the one that's like the big humanitarian, right? They're like the ones that want to change the world. Think of Oprah. She's an Aquarius. She's like the classic Aquarius, okay? So they want to save the world, but they don't know how to have a relationship. Usually people that are true, right? That so they are all the air signs are basically air represents speech, and which is why they're big talkers, and air represents thoughts. So they're extremely intellectual, right? So if you're on a date with an air sign, just let them talk. That's all you have to do. Just let them talk and they'll be so happy. By the way, my husband's an air sign and that's what I did. And I was like, that was the best date. I didn't have to do any talking. What if someone has to surrender? Usually the girl should surrender and let the guy just talk. At least for the first date. Give him a chance to shine. What?
This is another thing I want to ask. Do you go by the sun or rising?
We'll talk about that at the end because I'm going to open it up for questions. Okay, so Aquarius, they're people that are very like innovative. Think of like people that like Einstein, he was an Aquarius, like people who are like big thinkers, innovators. They come up with like the genius ideas of the world. That's Aquarius. So like when they say the age of Aquarius, what does that mean, age of Aquarius? It's related to technology, like a lot of innovation and technology. It's connected to like, it's the water bearer. So that water represents wisdom. So they're the ones that carry the wisdom. They're the teeth. They're again, them and the Sag and Aquarius are very similar in that they share wisdom. They're the teachers. And they're also very into like social justice. Now, Gemini is like, their mind is like a million miles an hour. They are such fast thinkers. They're like, think of like CTOs, engineers, mathematicians, musicians, like brilliant minds. Like their mouth can't keep up with their mind. That's how like brilliant they are. They're extremely smart people. And they usually are excellent communicators, either writers or speakers or motivational speakers. I wonder what Tony Robbins is, by the way. I think he might be either Aquarius or Gemini. And so for them, it's all about intellectual stimulation. So when you're talking with a Gemini or an air sign, they don't want to talk about people. They don't want to talk about things. They don't want to talk about emotions. They want to talk about, I don't know, the theory of relativity or something. Like they give them something very geeky and they'll just go off on that. That's like air signs. Okay, now Libra, anyone here a Gemini? You're not a Gemini.
English.
In English? Oh, nice. Okay. Wait, where are the Gemini?
I'm right here.
Are you guys geniuses? Are you genius?
No, maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Okay, Libras. Okay, so Libras, they're the most romantic sign. So any girl here who wants a super romantic guy, find yourself a Libra. Like he's very into like flowers and cards and romantic getaways. Like they're very romantic and idealistic and very into like aesthetics and beauty. And they're just in La La Land, right? Like in another La La Land. Right. So they're like usually musicians or poets or songwriters. That's Libras. Okay, so let's talk about the weaknesses.
The weaknesses. So let's see what we have. Indecisiveness. What should I say? No weaknesses at all? No, all right. Now, indecisive, impatient, independent, private, selfish, scatterbrained. I guess overloading yourself.
Yeah.
Trusting people too much, and all about me attitude.
Oh wow, interesting. Yeah, that is okay. So indecisive and impatient 100%. That is the problem of air signs, is because they're so smart and they're so intellectual that they can always see two sides of every argument, like everything's relative. They're like, oh, this sounds good and this sounds good. They're like, it's hard for them to ever, they can always justify both sides, so they do good at like debates or whatever. So yeah, so for Aquarius, for example, their weakness is that they focus more on global change rather than personal change. So that's a problem. Gemini is very impatient because they're just super smart. They don't have patience for people. They're like, keep up, they're just very, very fast thinkers and they're extremely indecisive. Okay, so for them, a big decision and a small decision, it's all the same. Like, what am I going to have for breakfast is just as hard as who am I going to marry. So good luck marrying a Gemini. Okay, Libra. Libra, they're sort of, like I said, they're in La La Land. They don't live in reality. They tend to over idealize people and they don't really see things for who they are. That's a big problem. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Tikkun. Also patience, focus, discipline, being decisive, organization, communication, sensitive, and trustworthy.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Okay, so the tikkun for Aquarius is that because they want to change the world, they have no idea how to do that. So they have like big ideas, but they don't actually know how to implement it. That's why they'd be great with like earth signs or fire signs that can actually get them to move to do something, right? So actually air and fire are perfect. Air and fire are extremely compatible, and earth and water, like we said, is very compatible too. Okay, so Aquarius, their tikkun is to focus on one-on-one relationships. Stop thinking about, I want to change the world, and why don't you come and focus on like, how do you have a friend? How do you build a relationship? How do you focus on real life and not just like the global vision? That's Aquarius. Gemini, their number one thing is committing. They're like called the jack of all trades and the master. Gemini is about commitment, decision, and taking on short-term things, not taking on long commitment, taking on short, and then by being successful in short commitments, you can slowly learn to commit to larger commitments. It's really building the muscle of commitment as a Gemini. Libra, is to get out of fairy tales and accept life for what it is, and also to finish what they start. And that was it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank
You saved the best for last. That's
Yes, all right, so that basically sums it up. So I just want to, before we go, I just wanted to thank everybody.
Guys, give it up for Rina.
I just want to thank all of you, A, for participating, B, for just being here. I think you're all awesome. I mean, we've been going for hours, so this is really cool. And I want to invite you all to stay in touch with me. You have my number. I make matches. If you want to meet your soulmate, I can help you. And also, if anyone would like to learn together, I have a women's group, a women's Torah group. You can be part of that. I live in Hollywood. Yeah, I'm very close. Yeah, I live in Hollywood. And yeah, I just want to say thank you again to Steven for having me with And I'm just gonna give like 5 to 10 minutes for questions, just any general questions. Go ahead. Thank you so much. So remind me your name. Vencion. Okay, so Vencion was asking about compatibility. I did talk about it, but I'll review. So how do we know who we're compatible with? Okay, so I'm just going to review it. Okay, so a few things to say. Number one, there's a reason why I put you in a group. I was trying to show you, here's your crew. Like, these are your people, you know, like water signs tend to gravitate towards water signs, earth signs. You know, it's natural for us to gravitate towards people that are like-minded and have similar personality. You guys, it's hard for me to talk above you. So that's number one. You always gravitate towards people that are in your own sign. So for example, what sign are you, Pension? You're Aquarius? Awesome, I love Aquarius. So Aquarius would go really well with a Gemini or a Libra. That would be easy for you. You'd get along really well with them. But then that's like tier one. Tier two would be, the compatibility would be like the complementary, which would be fire signs. So like Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. If you're an Aquarius, I highly recommend you stay away from Leos and just go with the, I can see his face. I can see he can't handle a Leo. It's too much. It's too much. They're too intense. Aquarians are like so nice. I don't think they can handle the Leo energy. So I would recommend that you go with, a Sagittarius or an Aries. That would be good compatibility. Now, that said, you never, ever, ever say, oh, I'm not going to date someone because they're not a air sign or they're not a fire sign. You never do that. You never do that. Why? Because, like I said in the beginning, when someone says, I'm a Pisces or I'm an Aquarius or they're just talking about their sun. Now, don't forget, when you do your chart, your astrological chart, which is the full picture, the full map of your personality, there's so much there that is going on. There's the Mercury, the Venus, the Pluto, the Jupiter, the Mars, the moon. There's so many aspects that the sun might not match, but then you might have other planets that match. So on paper, there are other elements involved that could mean that you're compatible, but you don't know that when you're meeting someone. It's not like you meet someone, you're like, oh, let me date you only if you're astrologically compatible with me. You know, there are people who do that, but that's not the case. What I'm trying to say is, just to summarize, because it's getting late, what I'm trying to say is that there's lots of different factors that contribute to success and compatibility in finding your match. And what I gave you today was just one tool of many tools that Hashem has given us to be able to be self-aware for ourselves, to know exactly what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, how we can make our lives better. We just touch. It's like the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more wisdom to learn, especially from Kabbalah, and that's why I teach my monthly class, which It's for women only, but you guys can see the recordings. I have a YouTube channel. You can see my classes. And then there's more to learn. What I'm just giving you is a taste, right? So I can tell you from my experience as a matchmaker and also as someone who was single and dated different types of people that weren't my classic compatibility. Hashem is the one that matches people together. And you should always give a person a chance because you never know. You never know who your match is. And I hope that you guys learned some tools today. You became a little bit more self-aware and that you're a little more receptive to meeting new people. And I give you all a bracha. All the single people should find their zivug and should build a Bayit Ne'eman B'Yisrael. And that anyone who needs healing should have the healing. Anyone that needs parnasa should have parnasa, and that Hashem should bring the geula to Am Yisrael, and we should only hear good things.
Okay, guys. So the sun is going to rise. So sushi outside. Enjoy. Thank you very much.